Hi, Lisa.
Hi. How are
Good. How are
you?
you doing?
Deflated. Just
Oh,
so tired. So tired,
summer.
but we keep
Yeah.
marching on. Is that what
You
it
know what?
is?
I
Is
think
it
it is
summer?
because you generally hibernate in the winter because it gets dark so early in Canada. And I don't know, I find in summer you're just trying to pack everything in. You say yes to everything, and then you like stretch yourself in so many different directions, and then you're just tired.
I'm definitely feeling stretched. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely tired and stretched. But I had to get up quite early this morning because I was coming down from, I went to visit friends for
Nice.
the weekend. And so there's not as many ferries from their small town to my island as there are when I come to see you. So my choice was 8:05 or 11:35, and so I went for the
Mm.
8:05, which meant I got up at 6. And then, once I got home, once I got on the island, it was another 3
Oh,
hours driving home. So just a little
long
bit
day, long
tired.
day. Well,
But yeah, always seems to be like you pack so many things into a day. So I'm a little bit more mellow today, not excitable, and who knows, we'll see what happens as the podcast goes
that
on. But
usually changes over the course of a podcast, regardless of energy level. So,
yeah, I generally tend to get quite
well,
excitable
and I think
sometimes.
our
So
guests give us so much energy too, which is really nice. Yeah,
so true.
yeah,
It's so true. It's
yeah.
lovely. The dogs are all very happy to
I
see me too. So you might hear them skittering around in the background as they race around in excitement. We had a nice little nap together this afternoon after I got
That's
home.
so
So it was
lovely, and
good.
they always add
Yeah.
a lot of joy to our podcasts. So I think so.
Oh,
I
really?
think people like
Okay,
to
that's
see
good.
them, and because they're so cute. I
Yeah.
mean, who doesn't?
When they're growling and playing, yeah, they're pretty wonderful little dogs, actually. I'm very, very much in love with them. But it's just when we're trying to have a proper conversation and then we hear in the back, then
I think people.
unless it's Kristen
I
growling,
was going to say maybe it's just your
when we're
stomach
doing the
growling too.
that's a possibility also. I had a little snack, so we're hoping we're going to be
Excellent.
tide it over. It's going to tide me over for a
There you
little
go.
while anyway. How about
Oh,
you? How are
good. Yeah,
you?
no complaints. It's lots going
Good.
on, but I can't believe summer's almost done, which is nupper.
Halfway
I
through,
know, but
basically.
but it's been a great summer so far. No complaints whatsoever.
The weather has been insane and
It
beautiful,
has been.
and it's kind of nice to have a cooler, windier day today. At least here. I don't know what it's
Yeah,
like over
same,
there
same.
for
It was a
you,
bit
but
coolish this morning, but the sun's back out right now. But it is definitely breezy here. But we always have a bit of a breeze just off the
yeah,
water. Um, so it's really,
yeah, because you're right there
yeah,
by
but
the
it's
water.
such an ideal place actually because it never gets too crazy hot. So best kept secret, I think, is White Rock's weather. Come
Shivering.
visit. But
Don't
it's really lovely.
come visit, but don't try to
Right.
live. Yeah,
Right.
it's so
But
beautiful.
actually, come live
Well,
here.
I'm looking forward to seeing you
Yeah,
in a
me
few
too.
days.
Me too. So, what have you
It'll be
been
good.
baking in your kitchen these days, Lisa?
I haven't been in my kitchen. I mean, I did bake that little
Hmm.
passion fruit loaf that you saw last time, but when I was over at my friend Sarah and Ken's place, they I was there basically just to relax, just get away from everything for a little bit, and but I was sitting there. I was like, I want to bake something, and I didn't say anything. But a couple hours later, Sarah was like, if you feel like baking
Of
anything, feel free. And I was like, you know what? I need to bake something. So
course you
I
did.
actually did bake something. Sarah is a bit of a coffee holic. I don't know if that was like she and I went to nursing school together. So I don't know if it started for her when we were going to nursing school or if she was a coffee holic before that, but she definitely likes her coffee. So I made her some coffee cookies with big chocolate chunks in them. That recipe that I found has a quarter cup of espresso powder in it.
And how many
And
cookies did it
it was
make?
about 12. So yeah, she took a bite. It's funny because she wanted to be surprised by whatever it was that I made for her, and she took a bite and she was like, "Oh, I love that flavor. And she's like, but I can't figure out what it is. And I was like, you can't figure out what that is, Sarah, you silly girl. I'm like, just take a guess. What kind of cookies would I make for you? And she's like, I'm like, it's coffee. It's mocha cookie. And she was just like, oh yeah, of course I like it.
Oh, that's
But the
hilarious.
problem, and I had to try it too, and it was very, very tasty. But the problem was I ate one cookie, and then when they went out to a barbecue in the afternoon, I went to lie down, and I was so jittery.
That's a lot of espresso powder for 12 cookies.
And I mean, I've said before, like on one of our podcasts, I said I could drink a cup of coffee at 10 o'clock and then go straight to sleep. And that is the case. But this was strong. So yeah,
Oh,
that was a bit much for
oh.
me. So I was nervous about trying another cookie, so I left them all for Sarah, who apparently felt absolutely nothing from them.
Well,
She was fine.
I think you're
Just,
starting something like
so
cookies for breakfast, like eye opener cookies, you could call them or something,
sure, eye opener cookies. No kidding.
right?
They were
Yeah,
really tasty,
very
really tasty.
cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Have you been baking anything? Uh oh, what have you got?
I
Oh
made cookies too.
yes. Look
Did you
at
see?
that. Look at those. And the cherries, your
Yes,
Okanagan
actually,
cherries.
these are a slight variation on our friend's white chocolate Marmite cookies that I actually added.
Which she
Pardon?
did post. Yeah, she did post
Not the
them.
cookies. I did one of her other recipes actually. So I haven't.
No, but I
Oh,
mean,
yes, she
she
did.
posted
Yes.
the
So these
recipe. Yeah.
are white chocolate Marmite and dried cherry cookies.
Oh, you had to throw the
Well,
cherries
it's cherry
in.
season. I couldn't resist. And I thought, oh, just because I like a little more, I like texture in my cookie. And I mean, the
Yes.
white chocolate chunks
Yes.
will give it that texture, but I wanted something maybe a little chewy
Mhm.
in there. And I love dried fruits in cookies. So I thought, oh, I wonder if it'll balance it off nicely. So I made the dough and then
Yeah.
I made some without the without the dry cherries, and then some with the dry cherries. And I have to say that I really like that extra little punchy tardiness in with the Marmite and the
Yeah.
white chocolate. They're really delicious.
You're getting a lot of different types of
Hmm.
flavors in there. You're getting the
Uh-huh.
umami and you're getting the sweet and
I'm
you're
sorry, I have to take a bite.
you get the sour. No, of course. I wish I could. That looks. I mean, the Marmite. It's very very
Mm.
intriguing to me. So, how do you
Actually, I
find
love
that?
it.
And by the way, we're talking about
Yes,
Tat FB, the cake
absolutely.
tunist.
I forgot to
Yes,
mention that in my
she's the
excitement about the cookies. I
our
forgot to
friend.
mention Tat FB, the cake tunist, and her recipes are awesome. These are really good. I actually quite like them. I'll save you some. So, because I made
Please
their,
do.
I like making smaller cookies. I know Tats were like these big Mondo cookies. I kind of like the smaller ones. There's less guilt for me. I can have one or three and not be so bad. If I have one big cookie, it's like, and they're big, and it's like, it's a lot of cookie.
Yeah.
So this way, they're just a lot easier to
Yeah.
eat for me. So, but they are delicious. I quite like them. Hopefully, you will too when you come over and check them out.
I'm very much looking forward to
Yay!
them. Yay! Well, who do we have
Oh,
joining us
my
today?
goodness. So, we are on a roll with winners of a great
Mm,
Canadian baking show. And today we are so thrilled and honored that Nataliia Shevchenko is joining us. You will know her as the winner of season 3 of Great Canadian Baking Show. I'm so excited to talk to her.
yay! Me too. It was awesome watching her on the show, and she's always got such a quiet presence, it felt like. And then when I've listened to her on the Washing Up podcast, I just felt like we saw a little bit of a different side of Natalia. And apparently, she calls herself a
She
crazy
does.
baker. And so it was interesting to kind of I guess I had formed a picture of her in my head, and it was just someone who's very calm and collected. And so to think of her as a crazy baker, I'm like, huh. I can't quite put the two things together in my mind. So I'm very excited to see how crazy she is with us. A couple of her stories on the Washing Up podcast, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I can kind of see this a little bit more. But yeah, she not only won season 3 of the Great Canadian Baking Show, but she also came
Hmm.
back for the Holiday
That's
Hoot
right.
Nanny, um, where four of the winners all went head to head.
That's
And so
right.
that
So I
that was
think that
pretty
was
cool.
Andre who won, which we talk about his panettone, crazy last bake, showstopper bake of
We never stop
showstoppers
talking
of
about that.
showstopper bakes.
Yep.
Vincent, of course, and Rafikat, and then Nataliia. So yeah, what a cast!
Yes, and
And
speaking of Natalia,
here she is.
well, hi Natalia.
Yes.
Hi,
Hello.
Lisa.
Nice.
Hi, Christina.
So nice to have you here with us.
So nice to be with you.
Thank you for
Oh,
joining us. We're kind of having a bit of an unofficial winners week because all
Mhm.
of the people that we are doing podcasts with in this weekly span here have won the Great Canadian Baking Show.
oh, that's
So it's
nice.
kind of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we
So
did.
you,
Go ahead.
Nice to
oh,
be one.
you
Nice to be one of them.
Yeah,
You were
no kidding.
definitely one of them. So, of course, Nataliia, you won season 3 of Great Canadian Baking Show. Congratulations again. That must have been such a cool thing, cool experience to go through.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of stress.
Yeah,
More
of
fun,
course.
I would say.
More
Good.
fun than
Yeah,
stress?
yeah,
So
Nice.
you can look back on it and think, okay, I had a lot of fun. Even on the days that were stressful, I hope they were still fun.
yeah. It was a lot of fun, especially with. You're not alone there, right? You know that
Mhm.
9 more bakers there. And you're, yeah, I'm not gonna be stressed by myself. Everyone is in
Yeah.
the same place, so
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're all
you
sharing
were very
sharing the
supportive.
excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems like with everyone that we've talked to. We're once again kind of raving about the casting department for that show because every single season seems to have exactly the right blend of people who just work so well together and just really enjoy each other and
I
support each other.
don't I don't know what is the secret. How do they do it?
I can't, yeah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be the one responsible for that, but they do an amazing, amazing
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
Yes.
and of course you were matched up with quite a number of wonderful people like Colin and Jody and Chris were all part of your season amongst so many other amazing bakers and yeah, so we'd love to hear your story, obviously of being on the Great Canadian Baking Show. But the first thing we usually start off with every episode is finding out what you've been baking lately.
Oh God. Actually, I've been baking a honey cake. So,
Honey cake,
Oh,
shocking.
surprise.
not a surprise.
Yeah, I baked a honey cake, like classic honey cake, and also
Mhm.
chocolate honey cake with a custard frosting. So
Oh,
it's a little bit
oh, yeah.
different flavor. I
That
had
sounds great.
guests over for the weekend, so and they never tried my honey cake. So I was like, okay, we still love it.
I was really hoping that I would have the time to try your honey cake recipe for today, but I did not have the time to do it. And I'm very sad about that because I wanted to try it and say, look what I made, but I'll have to do it another time because
Okay,
I definitely have to try that recipe.
that's okay.
Same. Yeah, same here. Would love to hear more about the chocolate one. So
Mhm.
the actual cake layers, were they chocolate or was the chocolate within the cream layers between?
It's pretty easy, you know. I always experiment with the honey cake dough and also frostings as well. So as I said in the recipe as well, you can use the sour cream frosting or you can use anything. I wouldn't recommend to use buttercream because then your layers won't be as soft as they become after uh, become friends with more soft frosting like custard or sour cream or just cream if you want just cream. But if you want to make a chocolate honey cake, then just replace few tablespoons of flour with cocoa powder, and then you will get chocolate dough. So then you bake it the same way, and for the frosting you can make custard, your favorite custard frosting. I'm gonna post a chocolate honey cake as well someday, and I will I will post my recipe, but you can play with flavors. I sometimes make chocolate custard frosting, so it's chocolate. You can add caramel, nuts, all kind of stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, it's very
Oh,
yummy.
sounds very good. Yes.
I
So,
definitely need to try to do that one day soon.
yeah, maybe we can add it to our list of things we're planning on doing when I come over to see you, Christina, in a couple of days.
I think that would be awesome. That would be so much fun to actually do that
I'm very
Hmm.
and
excited
finally
to
make
see. I'm very
finally
excited
make
to
the
see
time.
your pictures.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
I know. That's why I have to get on it, but been busy, sorry.
Yeah,
I
summer,
disappointed myself, but
and also summer is so hot, so you
yes,
don't feel
that's
like
true.
baking every day. It's
Yeah.
just relax and drink a lot of water, something cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my
Something
husband
cold.
makes a big gallon of like lemonade every single day, and he
Yeah.
just we have so many lemons lying around, and he bought this
Mm.
big juicer that sits on the counter, and he's just I come in the morning, he's like squeezing all the lemons to try to get himself
Oh,
some
that's the
lemonade.
best. I love it too.
Nice and fresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Natalia, how did you get started in baking?
I started baking. I probably started when I was 5.
Mm.
Yes. It was my mom. She didn't really want to bake, but every time we went to visit someone for some birthday or anywhere where we could have a piece of cake, I was like, Mom, I want to bake this cake at home. And then she's like, oh, okay. Then she will take the recipe, and one of the weekends we will bake together. So that's how she learned how to bake a honey cake. Then I learned from her, and then we baked lots of cookies, other stuff. And then also my grandma, she was baking. Usually she was baking bread, hand pies, all kind of
Mm.
Ukrainian stuff. Like lots of bread and lots of buns, and she used to bake it in a clay oven, like a big
Mm.
Wow.
Ukrainian clay oven. It smells so good because she used wood, and I used to spend a lot of time with her during the summer, and I was like, oh God, I wish I could bake it in that oven, but it was kind of dangerous for me because I was little. So
Yeah.
I just stayed with my mom and baked something in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I kind of forced my mom to bake. Then she learned how to bake with me, and she enjoyed it too. So after when I was a teenager, I would watch a lot of baking shows and cooking shows and read a lot of newspapers. They had some like few recipes there, or
Yeah.
some magazines with
Mm.
recipes, and I would try different recipes. Of course, you don't have all the ingredients at home, and you're trying to replace them. We didn't have
Hmm.
internet. We didn't have
Right?
Google that time. So like, I have to figure out what do I use for replacing like butter, because we just have like probably 50 grams of butter or something, and we didn't even have
Yeah.
scales. Everything was like cups, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
so like we have lard. I will replace it with lard. I tried it. It doesn't taste like it doesn't taste good. Okay, next time I'll replace it with lard and oil, and then it worked.
Mhm.
And that's how I experimented. Sometimes I would waste lots of ingredients, and I would tell my mom, I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," but
Oh,
yeah, that's how you learn, right?
it's
There
Yeah.
are
true.
mistakes. And then I was
Yeah.
baking for my family all the time. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. But
So when did you come from Ukraine to Canada?
it was 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I went to the show, it was 3 years. Only 3 years I've been in Canada, so I
Wow.
was actually very shy. I wasn't. Um. Yes, I was shy because of my English. I was afraid to say something in like it's not correct, or sometimes I didn't know some words, especially in a show when we had technicals. That was the one
Yeah.
that I was scared of the most because sometimes I would read the recipe and I was like, okay, make a dollop. It's like, what is dollop? And I
Right.
can't ask
Ah,
anyone. It's like, and I can't go to anyone to see how they make the dough. It's like, oh, I don't know. I'm asking host, and everyone's like, nobody is telling me. Like, okay, do you know those Russian church? Like they have that pig.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, I know. And then I made those pigs like big ones. It's like, okay, at least I know. And then I looked around, like, oh, my dollop doesn't look like that.
oh no.
But at least a little bit. So that's how you learn. And another thing was like, what was that? Something that we baked pies. I didn't know one word as well. So I did different shape and I was like,
Mm.
at least it baked, at least it tastes good, but it's different shape. So that was me, Natalia from Ukraine, who didn't know all the words. It was a lot of fun for me still. I learned.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, obviously, it probably, made a bit of a difference on the shape of how some of your bakes turned out, but obviously the flavors you nailed because you went all the way to the finale and won. So, although you had a few different challenges that you had to overcome, you really did an amazing job to really get yourself set up to win the whole thing. So,
But you
Hmm.
never know.
Congratulations.
Thank
yes.
you. You never know. Sometimes you think like you just make one mistake and it's
Hmm.
over. Just one mistake, small mistake can ruin everything. So
Mhm.
um and some of the episode would be like, will I be lucky today to stay
Yeah.
or I will go home? You never know.
Yeah, I can imagine. I
Yeah.
guess that you having been interested in baking since you were 5 and doing all that practice and all that experimentation, that um, was a huge help for the technical bakes, where the language probably was not was a bit of a hindrance for you. You didn't know all the words necessarily, but you knew how the ingredients worked together, and you probably
Mhm.
were able to kind of figure those things out maybe better than some of the other people who had not practiced as much as you had or experimented as much as you had, because you just had different exposure to it.
Maybe you're right, but sometimes we can be too much, like we worry too much, we
Mhm.
panicking because we don't have enough time. Like technical says, you have 40 minutes. It's like, how can I do it in 40 minutes? At home, I would do it in 2 hours, and here's 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I don't know how to finish it. And like cream caramel. I actually never made cream caramel. I was thinking about that, when I came to Canada and I was looking for condensed milk because it's called different
Mhm.
in Ukraine. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and buy condensed milk. It's different name, right? So I found the condensed
Yeah.
milk and it has a recipe for cream caramel. And every time I looked at that recipe, it's like, oh, I'm gonna make it next time, next time, next time. And I never made it. And then on the show, it's like, and I was thinking about that condensed milk. Natalia, why didn't you make it? Like, at least I would have some experience, right? So I was regretting them.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, that
that
was
was the
yeah.
we were thinking about the creme caramel. I mean, you weren't the only one
I know,
No.
who
I know.
didn't have a good experience with it. So,
Yeah, it was a fun one. I was laughing a lot. It was sad for me, but in the same time, I knew that I can't do anything with that. So what can I do? I'm gonna laugh because any like the recipe. So after that, I always told everyone read the recipe twice or three times because I read it once and I didn't read it, especially me reading English. I read it and it said make custard base. I didn't pay attention what it said. Make custard base, and I didn't really think about custard base. I know what custard base is, but I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about how to make it fast. And then I'm cooking it, and somebody is asking me, so Natalia, do you know how to make custard base? It's like, yes. And I'm cooking the custard already. It's like, oh, it's custard base. It's not gonna be, it has to be base. I don't need to cook it. And I was like, okay, what can I do? I have to put it in the oven anyway. So I knew it's not gonna work, but we had to do something.
We had to put something on the plate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
Were they trying to help you and give you a hint? Like, do you know how to
It
make
was
the
too late.
base?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was too late because I was already cooking it. So
Yeah.
And during the technicals, do you actually have extra ingredients in case you have to start something over again, or do they just give you the exact quantities that you need for the recipe?
sometimes, especially for cream caramel, you need so many eggs, and it can be like one or two extra in case you have one spoiled egg or something, but not five extra, right? So you
Right.
have just
Gotcha.
enough, just
Okay.
enough.
And you can't go, can I have more eggs?
No, it's like when you make something for signature or showstopper, then you can have extra,
Mm,
but not for
Right.
showstopper, not for technical.
technical.
Technical. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your life growing up and why you ended up coming here and living in Canada? Because that must have been a huge change for you. And I know that your heart is home in the Ukraine. So I would love to hear some more about your life growing up there.
I had an amazing childhood. I grew up in Ukraine in a beautiful family. My mom, my dad, and my twin brother, and my grandparents too. We spent a lot of time with my grandparents because they were like second parents to me, and they taught a lot. Like I learned a lot from them, from everyone
Hmm.
who were around me, and
Yeah.
my grandma wanted me to be a teacher for some reason. She saw something in me that, Natalia, you can be a teacher. And then I was thinking about that when I was little, but then I was like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. Maybe I will be something else. So first I wanted to be a dancer or dancing teacher or something like that. My mom said, no, you're good in math. You have to go to some school there, like economic or finance, something like that. So I learned. I actually I listened to my parents, and I went to college, then university, and I have economic degree, and I worked in Ukraine. Um, but when I was a student, I was working like every student. Start with something like I was working as a cashier for like 6 months or something. And I was a student. Then I was working in a bank. Then I was working in a Mitsubishi company before I came here to Canada. When I came to Canada, why I came to Canada? I guess love brought me here, and
Oh,
I had to start new life like from scratch. I would say because you have to build your experience again, right? So
Yeah.
it was the first year was a little bit because I like to work. I can't sit still. I need to do something. So first year, I because I didn't have a work permit, I couldn't work. While I
mhm.
was waiting for work permit, I was doing a lot of homework, like housework, cleaning, cooking, going to the gym, and also baking. So I guess I started baking like crazy here in Canada, because it used to be like only for some birthdays and something like that. But here I started baking because I got new friends. I started baking for friends' birthdays, and then they asked me, "Oh, my friend has a kid's birthday. Can you bake a cake for the kids?" And I started baking more, and I started learning more from the YouTube videos, how to make those 3D cakes. And it was because I was always artistic. I love painting, sculpting, everything from school. So I guess now it's in my cakes. So, and then one day I was watching. Actually, I was visiting my neighbor, old lady, and she was watching a baking show, second season. I was like, oh, I was watching that show in Ukraine, like the British one, and also we had in Ukraine just one season. I don't know why they didn't continue. Probably because they had money price and they just shot it. So I was like, oh, that would be cool if I would try it, but like no, it's no chance for me. I don't. There's so many people apply. I was like, oh, maybe I can try at least to see how audition goes here. So it was just for fun. I would just go and see. So I made my honey cake. I applied. I made my honey cake. I came for audition. I had a lot of fun there because I didn't really expect to be one of the bakers. So I didn't even worry about that. I wasn't nervous because I saw a lot of girls were like shaking, and they were carrying like plate with desserts, and they were shaking. Something fell on the floor. It's like, oh, don't worry, everything is good. Everyone is like, it was just feel like home, because it's just a great experience. And yeah,
Yeah.
and then they called me in a few weeks, and like, Natalia, you will be if you can make it, you can be one of the bakers. It's like, I'm gonna ask my boss, and I asked my
Yes.
boss, and I was like, cool, I can go with you. If they will take you, I'll go with you. Then he was very happy for me too. He was very supportive. So that's how I got in the baking show.
Wow. So one application, one
And
audition, and you were in.
and I was never lucky. Like in my life, I was never won anything. Like I mean, yeah, I was a runner before. I would run and win like first or second place, but it's not the same. It's not lucky. It's not. You have
Mm,
to do something, like you have
yeah.
to work hard
Well,
to get that.
well, obviously it wasn't just luck either.
Mhm.
Obviously you wowed them with your famous honey cake and your personality, and they saw something in you, obviously, that they thought would work for season 3, and obviously it did. It
It
was the
did work.
magic secret sauce.
I couldn't even believe that I would go so far. I couldn't,
Yeah.
because even my boss, when we were shooting bio, he asked Michael, the producer, he's like, "So how long Natalia will be there?" And it's like, if she's gonna win, then she's gonna be there for a month. It's like, what? A month? It's like, yeah. It's like, okay, if she's gonna win, then let her be there for a month. Yeah.
And how did everybody react when, well, you came back and obviously you couldn't tell them why you
Yeah.
were gone for months, but
Oh,
then
yeah,
when they,
because all of my coworkers knew, because we were shooting bio, right? They had to sign everything. And
Mhm.
my boss, because I had to, every time we were shooting one episode, it was for one episode to 2 days. So every time I
Mhm.
had to email them and say, I am staying. They didn't kick me out, like, and they're like, okay, good luck, and so they knew that I'm staying more and more. And so
Mm,
then after the last episode, I told them we shooting the last episode. They knew that I'm one of the three,
Right.
but they didn't know who is the winner. And then Chris, he was working not far away from my office, so he could come sometimes, and we would go for bubble tea on the lunch break. And my boss got to know him. It's like, so who is the winner? And he's like, can't say anything. And it's like, this is
Yeah.
Natalia. I know. It's like, no, this is Natalia. So he would bug me every day. It's like, you won that
Oh,
show. It's like, no. And then the last episode, he's like, Natalia, we're gonna have a viewing party in the office. So I was like, okay, let's do that. And then yeah, he was probably the happiest person there because
aw.
he was jumping. It's like, I told you, I
Oh,
told you she would win. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah,
that's so exciting to have people be so supportive of you,
yeah.
even if you can't tell them
No, I
the
couldn't tell
truth
them.
about what happened.
I would just smile, right? And I can't say, I wouldn't say, oh no, I didn't win. I just told him I can't say. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
somebody did, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Well, at least
tell
they knew you were one of the top three.
them.
So that in itself is super exciting and a great accomplishment. And but I love how invested they all were in your journey in the tent as well, and how much fun that must have been for the office, and probably a little frustrating for, well, not frustrating, but I guess it's like, okay, stop asking me
Yeah,
what
but
happened.
you
But
getting tired, and then you're getting used to that. So then when the
Yes.
show is over, and you kind of like, okay, we're settled now.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, and after a few weeks, you're like, oh, nobody is asking me anything. That's good. It's finally quiet. Yeah,
and then the show starts airing, and then probably all the questions start again.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's quite a, how long was it between you finished shooting and then the actual show was on?
We started shooting on May, guess May 10th or something. So it was 4 months. Then I know that I took a vacation. I went to Ukraine to visit my family. Only my mom knew, actually. Nobody else knew about that. And only my mom knew that I won. She knows how to keep secrets. And
That's
because
incredible.
if my dad knew, he would tell everyone.
I think it's kind of good that you didn't. I mean, because for Christina and I, like we've done it over and over and over, a few different years in a row, and it becomes sort of, all consuming because you're planning what you're going to be baking for your audition and when you're going to go for your audition and what you're going to say so that you can stand out. And then, okay, well, if you get through to the next round, well, then you have to start planning different bakes for your, audition. Well, it's Zoom bakes now,
Hmm.
and all that, and it becomes something that takes so much time. Probably like if we had actually managed to get into the tent, it would be like half the year. And
Mhm.
so it's probably good that you just kind of went in and said, okay, I'm going to try this, and then you were in, and then
I was
it was
surprised,
done.
honestly. I didn't, I
Great.
was really surprised because in Ukraine, I applied twice for MasterChef. And
You did.
yeah,
I did not know that.
it was like I brought everything, they ate it, and I was like, okay, it's delicious. And they asked me questions. Oh yeah, you know something. So we will call you or message you if you will be in. And then nobody
Right.
will call me or message because the first time and the second time it's like, and then I came to Canada. Like I'm gonna apply for baking show. Maybe it's the same. Like I didn't expect different. So I was
That's
just
great.
like, I'm gonna just have fun in audition.
Yeah.
It was
I
interesting
think
to
that's
see
key.
everyone's bakes. Like people are
Mhm.
so talented, they're incredibly
Mm.
talented. And right now, people get even like because I went to audition last year, not this year, because this year
Yeah.
they had in Calgary. So last year I went there just to see a bakers, and I saw the cakes and all the desserts they brought. Some of the savory bakes too. People learn a lot. It's
Mhm.
like since 2019, they learn more and more because there's so many different techniques, new techniques.
Mhm.
So you like,
Yeah.
yeah, here you could see like professional bakers.
Yeah, the competition's pretty fierce, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing though, because you can get so many ideas from people,
But also
you
when you
know.
when you bake at home, like sometimes I bake cakes and I spend few days to make the cake because you make these
Mhm.
toppers and you try to make everything smooth and perfect. So you put it in
Yeah.
the fridge for a few hours and take it back, and on the show you don't have that time. And then when you look at your cake, it's like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I can't even look at that cake because I know that I can make it more beautiful, but I don't have the time. So, but you can
They
Well,
see,
probably give you some grace for that because they know that you're under a time crunch, so
yeah, and
they
it's
would
also
not
hot in
expect
the
it to
kitchen
be.
too, right? It's hot,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
It's amazing what you managed to turn out considering the limitations of the tent. So, I mean, I give you kudos for that as well. That's pretty impressive. Yeah,
thank
even if it isn't what you would have done at home and didn't feel the same as what you know you can put out, it all looked fantastic.
you
yeah,
also
it
you
really did.
also learn a lot too, and the best lesson is have to work under pressure. It's
Yeah.
just you never do it at home because you're just relaxed. You have all your time. But then,
Hmm.
like all the cameras, you have time. Oh, I would be the one who would always ask, "How much time do we have left?" Because they never had to watch on me, so I was the one
Hmm.
bugging them.
So, how did it feel when you came home then? Were you like, well, I'm just not going to bake for a while?
Oh
Or
no, no, I was
you
baking.
wanted to,
I couldn't. I probably had like a week off from baking,
yeah.
and I was baking for so why did I post so many cakes just with a slice of cake? I was baking for the office for every Friday.
Oh,
The
okay.
first time
Oh,
when I baked the cake for the office, I think it was Thanksgiving, and I brought my honey cake, and I just wanted to say thank you for having me here. It's my first job in Canada. I'm so grateful, and we actually moved to a new office, and the office was beautiful. Like they had beautiful white kitchen, huge kitchen, and they had oven there, so I could even bake that if I had time, right? I
Oh
sometimes I
man.
would bake like cupcakes, something really uh, fast.
Yeah.
And my boss tried the cake and it's like, "Oh, Natalia, did you bake it?" It's like, "Yeah." It's like, "You can bake it here too. Let's do it every Friday." So because I didn't have time to bake
Yeah.
there, like some complicated cakes, like because I wanted to experiment, so I
Yes.
would bake it at home and bring it to work every Friday, and
Wow.
that's
that's how I would have a feedback, and I would ask them honest
Yeah.
opinion, like, can you just tell me what you think about this feeling? Is it too sweet for you? Is it too sour for you? Maybe it's not enough flavor. And for
Yeah.
some people, it was really delicious. Some people didn't like spinach, so they didn't even taste the cake. Like,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
won't taste the spinach, but yeah. So it was a lot of um, bake still because like I took
Hmm.
1 week off and then
Back
Friday
into it.
Friday's here and I have to bake.
I
wow.
love that.
So it must be nice to have all those people that you could test your all your bakes with and really get their feedback. Now,
Yeah.
did you find most people were like just really nice and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, everything's so good," or did you actually have a few people that were like, Natalia, it was just a little too sweet. You needed a
Yeah.
little bit more salt. Were they like Bruno and Kyla
Yeah.
when they were eating?
They most of the people were like, "Oh my god, it's so delicious." They would eat everything without even like I was like, "Oh, it was so good." But few people, I was just, "Come on, just tell me the truth." If you Because some people we had different, like people from with different cultures, right? Like I'm Ukrainian, we are pretty easy. If it's savory, it's like salt, pepper, dill. parsley, something like that. If it's sweet, yeah, right now we have more modern bake, so we can learn for the desserts. But like a lot of different cultures, Filipino,
Hmm.
Indian, and they have their own desserts, and I
Mhm.
like to learn from everyone. So
Hmm.
because you getting used to your own flavors, then you
Mhm.
try something else, and it can be too sweet for you, or too sour.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
ask them, it's like, do you think this is too much sweet, or it's not enough sweet? It's like, oh yeah, and so sometimes they would come say, I think that one was a little bit too sweet. It's like, okay, next time I'll know. So
Yeah.
or sometimes I would put more feeling to that one. So, yeah, it was
Right.
really
Yeah.
really
Good.
helpful. Yeah.
They had gave you honest feedback,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that's important for sure. Yeah, you can't please all the people all the time.
And
No.
that's okay. I
Yeah.
really appreciate the feedback, because if
Yeah.
everyone would say like it's delicious, no, it's not delicious
That
for
doesn't help.
everyone. Yeah, it doesn't
Right.
help. Yeah.
So you were one of the few people who has had four different hosts during your time on the show, because you had the opportunity of being there for season 3 when it was, sorry, what were their names again?
Carolyn and
Carolyn.
Aurora.
Mhm.
Yes. And then when you came for the holiday special, then you had Anne and Alan.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So did you was it I don't know. I don't know what I want to ask about that. I just think that's it's kind of cool because not a lot of people had that same experience.
Mhm.
You know, you were baking alongside of Vincent, who had already had these hosts. So
Mhm.
was there a big difference between the hosts
I
when
didn't
you were
feel I didn't feel the difference. Like I came to like holiday season,
Mhm.
and it felt like I knew them already because I was watching all the
You're right.
seasons
watching?
with them. Of course, I didn't meet them before, but they would talk to
Right.
me like they knew me, right? It's like, oh, okay, and they talking to me like to Vincent because I didn't feel the difference. It was a lot of fun too to be around
Oh, that's good.
them. Of course, probably it would be
I don't
better
know
if
why I
I knew
found that
them
interesting, but
before, but
sorry.
it was just one episode.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
But
did
what a
you
fun episode,
Mm-hmm.
that Christmas series. And it was like the, four previous winners. It's almost like the who's who of the Great Canadian Baking Show. All there wrapped up in one nice present for us as viewers to watch you guys bake these incredible creations. And then you were up against Andre, Vincent, and Rafikat, like all legends, and Natalia. All of you guys were, legends in your own right and incredible bakers. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, thank you. I actually didn't really um, think what to say when I got a call and I heard the question, Natalia, do you want to be one of the bakers for the holiday season? And I was driving home. I just got a new job, and I was kind of stressed because I had to um, learn a lot for new position, and also I just got my girls from Ukraine. I have my two nieces and my sister-in-law with me right now, and I was also super stressed because of my family still there, like my mom and my brother, and it was too much for me. It was already too much for me. So my life was like overhead. I didn't know what to think. I just got a phone call from Michael, and he's like, "Oh, Natalia, hello, I didn't hear from you for a long time." And he started talking about the new episode, and we'll be all winners. And I was like, and I just said yes. And I talked to him. I said yes, and then I'm driving home, and it's like, why did I say yes? Do I have time to prepare? I have no time. Actually, I was like swamped. I couldn't really think about it. It was like, but I said yes, and I can't step back. So and I need some distraction because my life
Yeah.
is too crazy right now. So
Mhm.
I was like, I'm gonna do my best, and I know that I knew that I'm not gonna win this one, but I wanted to see the bakers as well, and I wanted to I wanted to be on the show and see everyone, all the cast, and of course show what I can do for Christmas, what I do for Christmas usually,
Mhm.
and maybe someone will like it too. So I kind of calmed down and started thinking about some ideas and started baking more, but I didn't say anything to my girls. Nobody knew nothing about me preparing. I was baking Christmas gingerbread house and stuff, and they were just eating it without asking me. They would just eat those cookies. They would eat that pie, and I would bake it a few times, and they would just eat it. And one time, one of my nieces just asked me, "Why do you bake those snowflakes? It's just summertime." It's like it's just yeah. Sometimes I'm just practicing, just learning new stuff. She's like,
Mhm.
okay, it's tasty, it's good with tea. It's like okay, so yeah, so they didn't know until they saw me on Instagram. I posted the Instagram post like
Mhm.
I'm gonna be on the show, and like when it's like that was the time when I went for um I told them that I'm going to Toronto for a few days because my company is sending me for some training.
Perfect.
And my
That's great.
company and my coworkers knew that I'm going to meet my bakers. So, I
Mm.
mean, I didn't lie to them. I went to meet bakers, right? So,
Yeah,
Yep.
you
Yep.
did.
You did. You did. Did you know who you were baking against for the holiday
I didn't
special?
even
Did they?
ask. I didn't
You
even
didn't
ask
ask.
who is baking. I knew that they're gonna be someone. And for some reason I knew I had the feeling that Andre will be there. So I had the feeling that Andre will put everything, all his time, and because this this baker is amazing. He is just going crazy with his ideas and like
Mhm.
his mold. So I was looking forward to see what he will be creating. Yeah, and I was very
Yeah,
happy to meet
everybody.
Yeah.
Rafika and Vincent, and it was like, oh my god, those like 3 stars together, and I couldn't.
4.
Yeah, like
Four.
I mean, I'm not thinking about myself. Yeah, it
Right.
was so fun to meet everyone. They
Well, it
all
was wonderful.
they're
See
all
that.
so talented. Everyone has
Yeah.
such amazing ideas, and like Vincent said, oh, we're doing renovation at home, and I actually don't even have a kitchen. It's like I do have a kitchen, but I don't have time. But it's kind of
Well,
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Everyone had something going on.
Yeah. Well, it was sure exciting for all of us viewers when we heard
mhm.
the announcement of the four winners who were going to
Oh,
be baking for the holiday special, and it was so much fun to watch. Yeah. And it must have been nicer for you to just have the 2 days as opposed to the months, the weeks and weeks and weeks, not knowing what was going on. You knew you were going to go in, you were going to do these three bakes, and then you were going to be done with it. So a little bit less pressure for you.
I felt like it was just 2 days filming, but I felt like I had as much stress as I had full season.
the whole season. Wow.
I don't
Wow.
know. It just because it's such a big um, competition around because all the winners,
Mhm.
Hmm.
all of them are good bakers. All of them
Yeah.
won the show. I was like, I don't even know what's gonna happen. So yeah, it was
Uh,
Yeah.
it was stressful and fun, like I said.
That makes sense.
mhm.
I think that's a very good way to describe the show.
Yes, stressful and fun. So if Great Canadian Baking Show ever did like let's say after the 10th season, you have 10 winners. If they ever did like a tournament of champions where they asked all of you guys to go back onto the show for maybe not the full, extent of the whole season,
Yeah.
but maybe
Let's do the whole season.
or do the whole season? Yeah, okay, do the
Yeah.
whole
I
season,
am
the
sure,
whole the whole 8 weeks, and go through that. Is that something that you would do?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yes. Yay. Good.
go for that. I mean,
Yeah.
but you can learn from other people too on the show. You always learn something from everyone.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
you're not gonna win, at least you can meet more people. You make more friends. You
Yeah.
learn more.
Yeah.
That's such a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
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 Just have more of that great Canadian baking show family to add to the family that you already have. And Edmonton seems to be a city where there's quite a number. I mean, you had Chris, who was from Edmonton. I'm not sure if he's still living there
Yeah.
now, but and he was in your same season. So two Edmonton bakers
Liam.
in the same season,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's unusual.
Liam
Larry
lives in
is
Edmonton now too.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. So three of you guys from the same season,
Yeah.
all living in Edmonton.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then, of course, Larry Harris is from Edmonton too. And yeah, so just what is it about Edmonton? Is there, it's a cool, great city. Is there just that much, do you guys all bake because it's so cold in the winter and it warms your house up? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we just love baking, I guess. Everyone loves their kitchens. Oh, we gather sometimes for the barbecue or just for the Christmas before Christmas party. It's a lot
That's
of
awesome.
fun.
Nice.
You learn a lot from everyone, even in the party, because we bring something that I don't know why, but I always bring my honey cake. It's like, you guys, I don't know, maybe you're tired, you're just sick and tired of that cake. No, just bring your honey cakes. And maybe I bring something else. The last time I brought honey cake and profiteroles, like and eclairs. Others
Mm.
Yeah.
I will bring something else as well, not just honey cake.
It's truly your signature.
I guess so. I mean, so some people say it's too much work to bake the
Hmm.
cake because you have to roll each layers, and
Yeah.
it's actually not too much work. If you start baking like bake one time, then second time you will know how much time you need for
Hmm.
that. You
Yeah.
can make
Yeah.
that dough tonight, and then tomorrow you're gonna bake it and frost it.
Mhm.
It doesn't take as much time as you think.
Yeah. I'll time myself when I finally get around to doing it and see how long it takes me the first time.
For sure. Well, it seems like it is so delicious. I've heard so many great things about honey cake. I've never actually had one, but I so look forward to trying your recipe, Natalia, and making it and taking it to some friends that that's their favorite cake. So I look forward to getting their reaction and yeah, just their feedback for your honey cake recipe. So I
I'm
can't wait to
waiting.
try that.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting because everyone has different recipes, right? It can be
Yes.
slightly different, but still it's different. And everyone has like, if you go to YouTube and just type honey cake, you will get
Hmm.
like thousands of honey cake
Wow.
recipes. But everyone bakes their own, so we can
Okay. I feel like I'm ready to go start now, but
try.
Right?
yeah.
As soon as this episode is done, we're going to be in our kitchens making honey
Yeah.
cake.
Cool.
We get inspired,
Mhm.
even just having these conversations, it's so inspiring, and you realize all the things. Oh yeah, I want to try that, and I want to try that. So yeah, it's really fun. It's been so
Yeah.
much fun doing these podcast interviews.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of our passion in baking as well. There's so many different things to bake and so many incredible bakers out there that are so willing to share their talents, their recipes, their techniques, and all helping each other out. And we've spoken about that a number of times before, just how amazing everybody is, and especially all of the bakers from Great Canadian Baking Show. There just seems to be a real love for sharing and sharing your knowledge. So we thank you for that.
Yeah, we have a real soft spot for all the great Canadian bakers. That's for sure.
This is my plan. I just want to share my knowledge because I can't bake for everyone, unfortunately. It's just two hands. So, yeah, I'm just planning to share more recipes.
Yeah,
That's
and you just
we look
started
forward to it.
a
Yeah,
YouTube channel as well. So you've got your honey cake posted on your YouTube channel. I'm so looking forward to, like I said, trying that, but also seeing future recipes and your tutorials on that channel. It should be awesome.
I'm working on that.
Yay.
So let's play a little game of this or that.
Ooh,
I love games.
You love games.
excellent.
Well, this
So,
one's pretty simple. We just ask you two or sometimes more than two different things, and you tell us which you like best.
Mhm.
and
So,
there are no wrong or right or wrong answers.
no judgment and no wrong answers.
No judgment whatsoever.
Can be some judgment. That's okay.
Okay, first
Well,
question, coffee or tea?
Actually, I'm a tea girl, but since I came to Canada, I started drinking more coffee right now. I mean, I drink tea as well, but still,
Yes.
but in the morning I start with every morning I start with coffee. I can't wake up without coffee for some reason. Usually I would drink green tea, but now it's coffee.
Now
and do
it's
you take
coffee.
anything in your coffee?
Sometimes it's cream, but I can just take the black. No, no sugar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
You're like, give it to me straight up, coffee girl in the morning.
Just to wake up. Yeah.
that'll wake you up for sure.
Yeah, sure does. All
Yeah.
right, so hockey or football? Really, soccer.
Okay, soccer. Yeah. I mean, because I grew up in Ukraine, we didn't really have hockey there. So, soccer. I used to play soccer with my brother and friends when I was a kid. I mean, it's not professional, just on the field. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess maybe I will love hockey later too. I just need
Well,
a friend who will
Maybe.
take me to hockey every time.
there you go. Well, the Edmonton Oilers went a long way in the playoffs this year. Unfortunately, didn't get right to the end, but it was they did Canada proud with
They
how
still
well
did
they.
good. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they
Yeah.
really did.
Hmm.
Yes, for sure. Creme caramel or creme brulee?
Oh, creme caramel. I
Yeah.
mean,
Even
I love eating that. Yeah. And I know how to make it now. So,
I was
oh,
going to say,
perfect.
have you
Yeah,
made it again
yeah,
since then?
I made it
Yeah.
after. I had to.
Yeah, just to make sure,
Yeah.
just to say, I can do this. I
Yeah.
really can.
Yeah.
I bet it was delicious. That's one of my favorite things to make, actually.
Hmm.
creme
Yeah, I
caramel.
prefer I prefer that to creme brulee as well. Yeah.
Pasca or babka?
Oh. So you know the difference between Pascha and Babka?
I
Um,
don't. Why don't you tell us?
Oh,
tell our tell our listeners too.
so I prefer babka. I mean, we call it in Ukraine, the region when I am from, we usually bake babka, but we call it paska. So when I came to Canada, the Canadian Ukrainians who live here for a long time, they bake babka and paska. So what they call babka, we call paska in Vinnytsia region where I am from. So babka
okay.
is sweet bread. Pasca is
Okay.
not sweet. You can eat it
Okay.
with sausage and with butter, wherever. But babka is the sweet one, and you can add dry fruit and stuff. So yeah, I prefer
Yeah,
babka.
yeah.
You
And
like the
then there's
sweet.
the all the folding as well
So this is
with the too, right?
pasca. Yeah, with
That's
the braided.
okay.
Yes, this is because babka is just it can be glaze on top,
Okay.
with sweet glaze. But Pasca doesn't have any glaze on, but it has beautiful braiding.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it's like the because I think here in North America, I think it's
They'll
like you were
braid
saying,
babka.
kind of reversed, right? The babka.
No, it's not. It's
It's
just
not
No.
okay.
Ukrainian,
I'm wrong.
probably. It's
Okay.
not. It's actually the correct name.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Learned
Wow.
something. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. Cottage cheese or cream cheese?
Oh my God! Don't ask me that question because I I love both actually. We I don't eat cottage cheese as much as I used to, but in Ukraine, I would have it for breakfast sometimes, with
Hmm.
honey, with fruit.
Fruit. Yeah.
Um, Cream cheese I use for my desserts and cakes all the time,
Mm,
and I just love it.
hmm.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. I can't even. Yes, cream cheese. I guess cream cheese because I use it more.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's a good answer. We
Yeah.
always had cottage cheese growing up, but I never knew that people ate fruit with cottage cheese because we put salt and pepper on it. So
Salt
for
and
me, it
pepper
was
too,
very,
sometimes.
yeah,
My
I really
mom,
like it that way.
we made hand pies with salt and pepper and also dill.
Yes.
Ukrainian thing, you know.
Yes.
That would
Oh,
be
I
good.
like to do I now I'll have it as a snack. I'll have cottage cheese with cucumber and dill and salt and
Delicious,
pepper on it. And
yes.
I really, really like that. But
Hmm.
I mean, if I had to choose between cream cheese and cottage cheese, I would probably choose cream cheese any day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not with cucumbers. Oh yeah, with cucumbers,
Yeah,
yes.
cucumbers. Yeah.
Not for
Smoked
breakfast, but
salmon,
for like wait, yeah, no, that's good.
Hmm.
Don't listen to
bagels.
me.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Bagels too, yes.
Yeah.
Buttercream. Do you prefer American buttercream, a meringue-based buttercream, or maybe another buttercream?
Oh, I have so many different recipes for buttercream. Um, oh God. So meringue buttercream, I used to make meringue buttercream until I learned how to make more fun buttercream with chocolate, with
Hmm.
condensed milk, with cream cheese. So to make it more delicious. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, I will. Oh God, this is the tough one. Not American buttercream because it's overly sweet to me. Like it's too sweet for me. Um, but something else. I mean, but sometimes I can use meringue buttercream too.
Hmm.
So, what's your favorite buttercream?
My favorite one is cream cheese and white chocolate.
Oh. The two of
Oh.
them combined?
It's kind of like tastes like ganache almost, but
Oh,
it's not overly sweet, but it still has
that sounds
butter
good.
and chocolate and cream cheese, a little bit of cream cheese, not a lot. You
And
still have.
I was gonna say, how soft is it then?
It is very easy to work to smooth the
Mm.
cake. That's actually the one that I use for my cakes.
Mm.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
I
Oh,
will share
cream
it
cheese and
one
white
day. I
chocolate.
will share it. So
Yay!
I
Okay,
just need
good,
to
because that sounds like
work.
something I would love.
Yeah,
That
Yes.
sounds so good. And the
Yeah.
tanginess of the cream
cream
cheese
cheese. Yeah,
icing with
Mm,
like the sweetness of the white chocolate, I think would balance each other so
yeah,
nicely. So
yeah.
I'm
mm.
excited to see that one too.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Mm,
Hmm.
okay.
100% excited about that. Okay, bread. Sourdough or yeasted bread?
Definitely sourdough. I'm just crazy about sourdough. I bake it every weekend now. So
Wow.
this is my
Nice.
favorite. I don't need any other bread, just sourdough.
Okay. Now, have
I
you
love that.
always baked sourdough bread or did you become a sourdough bread baker during COVID?
During
Like,
COVID. It was
was
during
that?
COVID. Liam actually shared sourdough starter with me, so I
Oh,
started
nice.
baking.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, my
it's so
starter
good.
sits in my fridge.
Hmm.
Yeah, mine's in my fridge right now too. I
Yeah.
go through like these, like I bake it all the time, like you, like loaves, couple loaves every week,
Hmm.
and then I'll go away or something. I'll pop it in the fridge, and then it'll be there for like months. But you gotta love sourdough. It just like bounces right back.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. That's my favorite. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
me too.
Yeah. Yeah. But I prefer to have somebody else bake it and I will eat it.
Oh, okay.
Is that a hint? Is that a?
Yeah, sure. Make me some sourdough and I'll see you on Friday or
I
Thursday.
won't be able to do it in time for Friday though, because I've got to like revive my starter. It's going to take a little longer than that.
Yes.
So,
Okay, that's a good reason. It's
yeah.
all good. It's all good.
Chocolate, dark, milk, white, or another type of chocolate?
Dark. I love dark chocolate.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean I use all kind of chocolate for my desserts, but for eating I prefer dark, like very dark. I can't eat a lot of dark chocolate,
Mhm.
but for some reason I even like to have it with coffee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well,
no cream in your coffee and dark chocolate.
Sometimes I can have cream, or sometimes like I can have latte and
Oh yeah.
piece of
yeah.
chocolate. But
Yeah, that's
But
yeah.
yeah, I use different chocolate. For ganache, I can use white chocolate or dark or milk chocolate.
yeah, nice. With your coffee, you can actually take a little bar of your chocolate and just melt it in your coffee, make your own little mocha.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, I never thought about it because I just eat it and drink
Yeah.
one in cup.
Do you have a favorite dark chocolate?
Um,
Like a brand?
Callable, yeah. I actually just buy one from Costco right now because it's easy to
Okay.
go and buy it, it's a big bag.
Mm,
So,
That's true.
and it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's this is the one that I like to work with too.
yeah.
right.
Nice.
Yeah. That makes it easy. Then you can
Hmm.
snack, but you can also use it for your
Yeah, just
desserts.
snack.
Yeah. Okay, spring, summer, fall, or winter?
Mm, living in Alberta, a lot
Yes.
of people
I have done that.
a lot of people hate winter. I don't hate
Hmm.
winter. I was born in February, but I love summer. I love
Hmm.
spring, and I mean, and fall is beautiful too. I love golden fall. I can't
Yeah.
even choose
Hmm.
between all of them. Um, Spring and fall, I guess. Summer too, but summer sometimes it can be so hot. So
It's very
you
hot in
start
Alberta, yeah.
like, okay, I don't
Yeah.
like you anymore. Especially.
What I miss
That's fair.
about winters in Alberta is the hoarfrost because
Mhm.
we don't have hoarfrost here. I mean, we hardly ever have snow here, but you get the four distinct seasons, and the hoarfrost is just so beautiful how it just covers the
Beautiful.
trees and it looked like it's outlined in ice.
Yeah,
Oh, I loved it.
it's like
It's
So
called
beautiful.
unreal.
hoarfrost.
Yeah, HOAR.
Okay, I've
Yeah,
never ever heard of hoarfrost before.
yeah,
I
it
must
is
admit, I was a little
so.
scared of what that could be.
No, it's like painting, and everything is
Yeah.
white. All
Okay.
the trees are covered with the fluffy, like it's like snow fluff.
Mhm. Yeah,
That
and
sounds so pretty.
there's nothing. I don't know. I was going to say there's nothing better than, but yeah, there probably are things better than. But there's something about walking through the snow in the evening and just the lights on in people's houses.
Mm.
And it's just this blanket of
Like,
snow all over everything and just seeing the people inside living their lives. I just find it so beautiful.
we didn't have snow for Christmas last year.
Oh no.
It was so sad. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very
Yeah,
strange.
snow
Yeah.
at Christmas is,
We
yeah.
did.
Did we? I don't think we did here. Maybe you had some in Victoria. I don't think we had
Yeah,
any
my
here.
My husband has one of the only plows around, and so he has contracts to plow if it snows. And it happened to snow right before Christmas. It was either this year or the last year. I can't remember. But then he's gone for like 36 hours straight, just plowing and plowing and plowing. And then the snow's done, and then he doesn't plow again for the
Wow.
rest of the year. But yeah, it's unfortunate when it actually
Mhm.
coincides with Christmas. I mean, if he didn't have to plow, it would be lovely to have snow
Yeah,
on Christmas.
Hmm.
But
yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Very
Makes sense.
unusual for us here to have snow.
Hmm.
Yes, unfortunately. All
All
right.
right. Our last
The big question.
really big one. This is an important one. This is where we may or may not judge. Um,
And I think I know what you're gonna ask, but yeah, just ask.
butter tarts,
I know.
raisins or no raisins? Because we have to ask this one.
And now I will tell you a funny story about this before I answer.
Okay.
So me coming from Ukraine, um, before I went to the show, I never tried butter tarts, and this is actually the question that they ask everyone there. So they ask like questions, and you have to say yes or no, or raisins, no raisins. And they asked me a question about butter tarts, raisins or no raisins. It's like I eat raisins. Like, okay, yes, raisins. And then when I was watching the show, when they were showing these short episodes with us telling everyone like who likes raisins in butter tarts or not, and I was like, ooh, that's why they asked us to if we like butter tarts. I never tried that, and then I went and I tried butter tart. It's like, okay. Okay, so yes, raisins, I guess, because I eat raisins. After the show, I tried it.
And
That's funny.
Yeah.
and did you
And
still like
raisins.
raisins in your in your butter
I mean,
tarts?
I don't mind. I tried with raisins and without. Maybe it's just different texture, right? So
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can eat both, I guess.
Still pretty sweet either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't
Yeah.
really eat a lot, but
No.
yeah.
So you're kind of indifferent. You'll take it
Yeah, I'll
however it
take it.
comes
If
to you.
somebody will give me raisins, I'll take raisins. If I will have no choice, I will take raisins.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So
Yeah.
you're just give me a tart and I'll be okay.
Yeah,
You're not picky.
no.
That's awesome. Well, I guess that's maybe a half point for each of us if we're keeping score.
I mean, we haven't really been keeping score, but sure, let's just say that just in case it comes down to a
A
tiebreaker at some
tiebreaker.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm up though, just so you know.
You are adding them up? Oh
Maybe.
gosh. Okay. Well, I guess I'm okay with raisins, and yeah, so apparently that's my side,
Oh,
that I'm a raisin girl, which is the weirdest thing ever for me when I realized that, because I've never liked raisins in anything except maybe a bagel.
we
So, yeah.
actually add raisins. My mom used to make the crepes with the cottage cheese, the sweet
Oh yeah.
one. So we would put raisins in cottage cheese, like sweet
Oh wow.
Oh,
sugar, raisins, vanilla, and then just wrap it and bake it with butter and eat it with
oh,
sour cream,
Sounds pretty good.
like hot with
hmm.
buttercream. Actually, it's good. I mean, we don't put a lot of raisins there, just like few
Mhm.
raisins, so you just have extra sweetness from that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a dollop of
Yeah.
raisins.
But
A
yeah, I
dollop
know
of
in
raisins.
Ukraine, not everyone likes raisins. Some people like, oh my God, I don't like raisins because it's weird texture. I like grapes, but I don't like raisins.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Well,
sense.
Natalia, do you have a baking scrap to give to our listeners? So, some type of tip or trick or something that will help them along in their baking journey.
um, I always tell everyone to bake. If you want to get better, just bake, even if you fail. Every failed
Hmm.
experiment is one step closer to success, right?
Yes.
So you got to do what you got to do, right? If you want to get better, you gonna learn and bake more,
Yes.
and yeah, practice makes
Okay.
perfect.
Practice makes perfect.
Wise
That's an
words
awesome
from
tip.
Natalia.
Yes. Thank you so
That's
much for
awesome.
joining us today.
Thank you for
We have
having me.
loved having you. And I'm very much looking forward to this eventual tournament of champions, if it ever does happen, because it would be lovely to see you on our television screens again.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So nice. Or if you do another holiday special or fun weekend bake again, that would be awesome
Sure.
to see
Yes,
that. So yeah,
yes. And I will
because
definitely get on baking that honey cake soon.
I'm gonna work for
Yeah,
on more recipes, so probably share more um,
perfect.
my favorite recipes with everyone.
Looking
that'd be
forward to it.
awesome. Yeah,
Yes,
we can't wait,
absolutely.
Natalia. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
too.
you so much for being here. And we look forward to having you again.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to see more guests this
Ah,
weekend.
yes.
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we've
Great.
got a few exciting people up our sleeves. So
Oh, you're doing
glad.
great. That's so
Oh, thank
Oh,
exciting.
you.
thank you. It's so much fun, and we couldn't do this without you guys being so incredibly gracious and sharing your journeys and your stories and having a conversation with us. We really do appreciate all your support. Thank
Thank
you.
Yes,
you.
that was great.
Ah, Natalia, what a sweetheart. It was so
She
lovely
is.
to have her on the show and her taking us through her journey to Canada. Of course, love. I mean,
I mean, what better reason is there?
there is no better reason. And we're so happy it did bring her here because we got to experience her and her bakes and see her in action on Great Canadian Baking Show. I must admit, I'm just slightly a little jealous that she got on the first try. It
Yeah,
seems so easy for her, which I'm
yeah.
happy for her, but I'm like,
Are you more jealous of that than of the fact that she won?
right? I know. Just getting into that tent would be so
Yeah,
cool and exciting.
yeah.
And
It would be.
yeah. but I'm
Yeah.
happy she did, and was able to wow us with all her incredible bakes. And what I really loved about her is how she married her Ukrainian culture with her Canadian culture that she was just
Yes.
learning.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, there were a few moments on the show that were quite emotional and kind of hitting home a little more. We didn't touch on that too much here in this podcast, just kind of keeping things light. But we're certainly, our hearts are with Natalia's family and all the Ukrainians who've been affected by everything that's been going on. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, we definitely stand with her and with her family. I'm glad that she has her sister and her nieces with her, and that they're here in Canada. And yeah, tough
Yeah.
stuff. Tough stuff that we don't often touch on.
No, no. And, unfortunately, there is a lot of crazy in the world right now. And all the more reason why spreading some joy and love is so important, and being kind.
Yes.
And what better way to do that than sharing baked goods with people and baking. And again, we talk about this, the Great Canadian Baking Show, and how wonderful and wholesome and lovely that show is. And it really does transcend beyond demographics, like from an age perspective, from a cultural perspective, from a baking experience perspective.
Yeah.
It just brings so many people together and brings families together. And those times are really special these days.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm going to go make a honey cake.
Well, I thought we were going to do that together this week. I
Oh,
was
wait, I
like,
guess.
cool, let's do this. Are you going to practice beforehand? So you're like this
No,
total
I'm not actually going to make a honey
then
cake
you'll be
right
like,
now.
oh, you do it. I'll be like,
No, I'm just going to make my dinner.
well, I'm probably going to have a bowl of Lucky Charms for dinner tonight.
Oh, sounds like a very good plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, because that's one of my
I know.
guilty pleasures
I
that I
know.
have.
It's
It's so
great.
good.
The dogs have been making lots of noise throughout this whole entire podcast, but
I haven't heard it on my end though.
yeah, I'm sure I'll be doing some editing to get them out, but it doesn't matter. Happy, happy puppies. It's a good
There you
thing.
go. They're
Yeah.
happy their mama's back.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad to be back and home, and I'll go give some cuddles to my bubbas. That'll be
Nice.
nice. So, well,
Well,
have a great rest of your day.
you as well, Miss Stewart, and we will talk soon.
Yes. And I will see you in a couple days.
Yes, you will. Yay, can't wait.
Thanks everyone for listening and for
Thank
watching.
you.
We
Thank you,
hope that
everyone.
we'll see you again next week.
And happy baking. Bye.
Happy baking. Oh, my lips got stuck on my teeth. Happy baking. Okay. Happy baking. Bye.
Bye, everyone.